The story begins on a crisp autumn evening with a sense of serenity enveloping our home. I, Emily, was nestled on the living room couch, wrapped in a soft woolen blanket. The comforting glow of the crackling fireplace danced across the room, and the faint scent of a hearty stew wafted from the kitchen. Our home had always been a haven, a sanctuary from the hustle and bustle of the world outside. At 6 months pregnant, I was eagerly anticipating the arrival of our child. John and I had been married for 3 years, and our love had only grown stronger as we embarked on this new chapter of our lives. The baby's nursery was already taking shape, with tiny clothes neatly folded and a crib waiting for its tiny occupant. As I savored the warmth and tranquility of the moment, I couldn't have fathomed that our peaceful evening was about to be shattered by a tempest that would threaten the very foundation of our family. It was a storm, not one of rain and thunder, but of emotions, accusations, and turmoil that would test our bonds and challenge the love we had for one another. This was the beginning of a tumultuous journey that would ultimately lead to forgiveness and healing, but not without its share of heartache and revelation along the way. The night Linda stormed into the living room marked the abrupt end of our peaceful evening. Her entrance was more like a tempest, a whirlwind of anger and suspicion. Her once warm and welcoming eyes were now ablaze with fury, and her voice trembled with an emotion I had never seen from her before. "Emily!" she hissed my name, her tone dripping with venom. "I know what you've been up to." I was taken aback, the words hanging in the air like a dense fog. Linda, my mother-in-law, was a woman I had known for years, a woman who'd always been kind and supportive. Her accusations were nothing short of a shock to my system. She continued, her voice rising with each word. "You've been cheating on John, haven't you? Don't think you can hide it from me." The accusations were not just false. They were utterly baseless. I had been faithful to John since the day we met, and the very thought of infidelity was abhorrent to me. I felt like a deer caught in the headlights, my mind racing to comprehend what was happening. Tears welled up in my eyes as I tried to speak, to defend myself against this unthinkable accusation. I stammered, "Linda, you're mistaken. I would never do such a thing. John means the world to me." But Linda was relentless, her anger intensifying with every word. She accused me of betraying her son, of tarnishing the family name, and of jeopardizing the future of the unborn child I was carrying. The room felt stifling, the weight of her allegations pressing down on me like an insurmountable burden. My world, once filled with love and warmth, had suddenly become a cold and dark place, and I had no idea how to navigate the storm that was brewing. In the days that followed Linda's shocking accusations, I found myself caught in a whirlwind of emotions, unable to escape the storm that had engulfed our home. The once cozy atmosphere of our house had transformed into a tense and suffocating environment. As the accusations persisted, I could feel my heart breaking piece by piece. It was as though Linda's words had shattered the fragile trust we had built over the years. The love and warmth that had once defined our family were replaced by a suffocating cloud of suspicion and betrayal. I spent many sleepless nights lying in bed, replaying Linda's accusations in my mind, trying to understand how our relationship had unraveled so quickly. I knew that my commitment to John was unwavering, and the accusations of infidelity were not just false. They were a cruel twist of reality. The tears that streamed down my face in the darkness were a testament to the pain that had settled deep within my heart. The hardest part was the isolation I felt. Linda's relentless pursuit of her accusations had driven a wedge between John and me. She succeeded in convincing him that her doubts were justified, and I found myself increasingly isolated from the man I loved. The one person who should have been my pillar of support had become an unwitting accomplice in my torment. It was a heartbreaking time in my life, and I desperately longed for the storm to pass, for the truth to come to light, and for our family to heal. Little did I know that the key to our salvation would come in the form of a shocking revelation, one that would challenge everything we believed and bring about a reckoning that none of us could have foreseen. Chapter 4: Isolation. The days turned into weeks, and the tension in our home only escalated. Linda's relentless accusations cast a dark cloud over every aspect of my life. I felt like an outsider in my own home, a place that had once been a sanctuary. Isolation became my daily reality. Linda's manipulation tactics were insidious. She would whisper poisonous words into John's ear when I wasn't around, sowing seeds of doubt and suspicion. As a result, John began to distance himself from me, torn between the woman who'd raised him and the woman he had chosen to marry. I was often left alone in our home, feeling like a stranger. Friends and family members, sensing the turmoil, began to keep their distance as well, not wanting to be caught in the crossfire of a family dispute. The loneliness I felt was suffocating, and the weight of Linda's false accusations bore down on me like a relentless burden. It was during these isolated moments that I began to reflect on the depth of my love for John and the life we had built together. I knew that I couldn't let Linda's accusations tear us apart. I resolved to find a way to confront her with the truth, no matter how painful it might be, and to bring our fractured family back together. As the storm of isolation raged on, I clung to the hope that we could weather this crisis and emerge stronger on the other side. Little did I know that the shocking revelation I was about to share would shake the very foundations of our family and change the course of our lives forever. The tension in our home had reached its breaking point, and I knew that I couldn't bear the weight of Linda's false accusations any longer. It was time to confront her with the truth, a truth that I had kept hidden for far too long. One evening, as Linda and I found ourselves alone in the living room, I mustered the courage to speak. I asked her to sit down, and there was a moment of eerie silence as we both knew that something significant was about to be revealed. With a trembling voice, I began to recount the story of my past, a story that I had never shared with anyone, not even John. It was a story of abuse and trauma that had left deep scars on my soul, wounds that I had carried with me for years. Tears streamed down my face as I spoke, and Linda's expression shifted from anger to shock as the painful details spilled out. I shared how I had been a victim of a traumatic incident from my past, an incident that had left me broken and haunted. The weight of my secret had been too much to bear, and it had driven me to keep it hidden from the world. As I spoke, Linda's accusatory demeanor melted away, replaced by a profound sense of empathy and understanding. The truth of my past was so raw and painful that it was impossible to deny. I could see the realization dawning in her eyes as she finally comprehended the gravity of her accusations and how they had added to my suffering. The room felt charged with emotion as I finished recounting my story, and for a moment, the storm that had raged between us seemed to subside. Linda, once my accuser, had become my confidant. It was a moment of vulnerability and catharsis, and it marked the turning point in our tumultuous journey. But the revelation was only the beginning. The path to healing would be long and challenging, and we still had many hurdles to overcome. In the coming days, Linda and I would work to rebuild our relationship, and together, we would prepare for the arrival of our baby. It was a journey of forgiveness and redemption, one that would ultimately redefine our family bonds in ways we had never imagined. After revealing the painful truth about my past to Linda, there was a profound shift in the dynamics of our relationship. The storm of accusations and suspicion began to dissipate, replaced by an overwhelming sense of empathy and understanding. Linda had been so consumed by her baseless accusations that she had failed to see the pain I had been carrying. My secret was not about another man. It was about a traumatic incident from my past that had scarred me deeply. As she listened to the harrowing details of my experience, I could see the guilt and regret in her eyes for the hurtful accusations she had made. We sat in the dimly lit living room, the glow of the fireplace casting flickering shadows on the walls, and for the first time in weeks, there was silence, but it was a different kind of silence. It was a silence filled with understanding, empathy, and the weight of our shared realization. Linda's transformation from an accuser to a compassionate listener was both unexpected and humbling. She apologized for her hurtful words and actions, acknowledging the pain they had caused me. It was a moment of profound vulnerability for both of us, as we faced the harsh reality of the damage our actions and words had inflicted on our relationship. As Linda and I began to rebuild our connection, I saw a side of her that I had never seen before. A mother who cared deeply for her son and who was willing to confront her own mistakes. She offered her support as I continued therapy to heal from my past trauma, and she became a source of strength during a challenging time in my life. In the days that followed, Linda's guilt served as a catalyst for change within our family. It was a reminder that forgiveness had the power to mend even the deepest wounds, and that despite our flaws and imperfections, we could find a way to move forward together. The journey of healing and redemption had begun, and we were determined to emerge from it as a stronger, more united family. In the wake of the shocking revelation and Linda's transformation from accuser to confidant, our family was in a state of introspection and reconciliation. It was during this chapter of our tumultuous journey that Linda, my mother-in-law, grappled with the profound regret of her actions. For Linda, the realization of her mistake was a heavy burden to bear. She had been so focused on protecting her son, John, that she had failed to see the person he loved and married. Her accusations had not only hurt me, but also put a strain on her relationship with her son. The guilt for causing this rift weighed heavily on her heart. Linda's regret was palpable in her every word and gesture. She approached me with a deep sincerity and offered a heartfelt apology for the pain she'd inflicted upon me. It was a moment of vulnerability for her, as she acknowledged her mistakes and expressed genuine remorse. As a mother herself, Linda had always wanted the best for her son. Her misguided attempts to shield him from perceived harm had unintentionally caused harm to our family. She realized that her actions had been driven by fear and a misguided sense of protection. In the days that followed, Linda and I had many heartfelt conversations. She shared her own struggles and regrets, opening up about the challenges she'd faced in her life and the lessons she'd faced in her life and the lessons she'd learned along the way. It was a cathartic process for both us, a chance to heal and grow together. Our journey was far from over, but the foundation for reconciliation had been laid. Linda's willingness to acknowledge her mistakes and her desire to make amends were pivotal moments in our story. It was a testament to the power of forgiveness and the capacity for transformation, even in the face of deep-seated regret. As we moved forward, we would continue to rebuild our family, one step at a time, guided by love, understanding, and the hope for a brighter future. As Linda and I continued to navigate the complexities of our healing journey, Chapter 8 brought us to a pivotal moment: forgiveness. It was a chapter that marked the beginning of a renewed sense of hope and unity within our family. The weight of Linda's guilt and regret for her false accusations had been acknowledged, and I had forgiven her for the pain she had caused me. In return, she'd also forgiven herself, recognizing that she was a flawed human being who had made a grave mistake. Our newfound forgiveness was not a swift or effortless process. It took time, patience, and a willingness on both our parts to let go of the past and embrace the possibility of a brighter future. We realized that forgiveness was not just about absolving the other person. It was also about freeing ourselves from the shackles of anger and resentment. John played a crucial role in this chapter as well. He had been torn between his loyalty to his mother and his love for me. Seeing the transformation in both of us, he began to reevaluate his stance and took steps to rebuild our relationship. He recognized the pain I had endured and the strength it took for Linda to admit her mistakes. John's support was a significant catalyst for our family's healing process. Together, the three of us began the challenging work of rebuilding trust. We attended family counseling sessions to address the underlying issues that had contributed to our strife. We learned how to communicate more effectively, how to express our feelings without accusation, and how to empathize with each other's perspectives. In this chapter, the love that had initially drawn John and me together began to shine through once again. It was a love that had weathered the storm of false accusations, regret, and isolation. We realized that our bond was stronger than any challenge that had come our way, and it was this love that propelled us forward. In the days that followed our forgiveness, Linda and I continued to work on our relationship, forging a new understanding and appreciation for one another. We spent countless hours in conversation, sharing stories, laughter, and tears. Our conversations were no longer dominated by accusations and anger. They were filled with empathy and genuine connection. John's unwavering support played a crucial role in our healing process. He stood as a bridge between his mother and his wife, helping to mend the rift that had once threatened to tear our family apart. With his guidance and love, we began to rebuild the trust that had been shattered step by step. Family therapy became a regular part of our routine, providing a safe space for open and honest communication. We learned to address the root causes of our conflicts, the misunderstandings that had fueled our strife, and the coping mechanisms we could employ to navigate future challenges as a united front. As we neared the arrival of our baby, the anticipation and excitement within our family grew. Linda and I worked together to prepare for the new addition to our family, setting up the nursery, choosing baby names, and attending prenatal classes. The impending birth served as a symbol of hope, a reminder that our family was evolving and growing just as the love between us had. The support and understanding we had cultivated during our journey of forgiveness extended beyond our immediate family. Friends and extended family members who had previously kept their distance began to reconnect with us, recognizing the positive changes that had taken place. Our support network grew stronger, reinforcing the sense of unity within our family.